Hi everybody, this is Kathleen Hinesley with Exploring Dimensions for All, and today I'm going to be continuing with the reading of Chapter 16 from Welcome to Infinity, Exploring Ancient and Modern Techniques for Collaborating with Otherworldly Beings, a book that I wrote and published in 2002. That's when it was published. All right, so in the last part of our journey through Chapter 16, I had arrived at a house that was purportedly haunted, that was experiencing some activity. The family living in the house had witnessed numerous strange events, including wax dripping from the ceiling and, if memory serves me correctly, a flying knife that had reportedly traveled across the kitchen on its own. One woman who lived there was particularly hysterical. She claimed that ghosts were beating her in the middle of the night and pointed to numerous bruises on her body as evidence. When my friend took me to the house, I entered cautiously, trying to be aware of any feelings I might have about the place. I didn't feel anything at first but anger and fear, and a sense that something or someone didn't want me there. As I followed my friend into the kitchen where the wax and knife events had reportedly occurred, I began to sense that a very violent event had once taken place there, possibly involving a duel of sorts between two men, a duel that had led to mutual murder. I knew, of course, that this might simply be a creation of my imagination, and tried not to speculate with regard to the accuracy of the impression. All right, so in the next sentence there's a bad word. You might call it a bad word in YouTube world anyway, so I'm just going to spell it for you when I get to it. Then, as I entered the bedroom, I heard a deep, scratchy voice. "Get out of here, you little bitch," it said. Although the voice was an internal one, which I was certain could not be heard by an outside person, it had a definite vocal quality. I was sure I was hearing an actual voice and not simply a set of thoughts. The voice sounded like it belonged to a man in his mid-50s or 60s, a man who had perhaps been a long-time smoker. Hearing the voice motivated me to leave the room and continue my walk through the house. In spite of the voice and my sense that the house had once been the scene of great violence, I held on to a shred of doubt. Could the voice and my feeling about the house's history be products of my imagination? How could I be sure I wasn't making it all up? Further investigation of the house yielded no further evidence of ghostly habitation until I went into the bathroom. Upon opening the door, a great feeling of sadness hit me like a torrential rain. The feeling was indescribably strong. It ripped at my heart like a knife, nearly knocking me to my knees. The pain was so complete it competed with my sense of self. I sat on the closed toilet seat, trying to gather my wits, struggling to remember who I was and why I had come. It's real, I kept thinking. This is a terrible, terrible place. This poor, poor woman. Soon I felt myself drawn into memories that were not my own. I was a mother with children outside the door, children in imminent danger. Two men were fighting inside the house with knives. Why had I moved here with him? Why had I brought my children here? Why had I trusted them? If I opened the door in an attempt to save my children's lives, I too would surely be killed. A great wave of guilt and remorse washed over me, stinging and burning its way into my heart. How could everything have gone so wrong? I pushed the bathroom door open and bolted into the hallway to escape from the thick vibrations trapped inside. I knew then. The house was haunted, and the spirits who resided there were in great pain. My friend greeted me and asked if I'd like to visit the basement, explaining that other psychics he'd taken there had sensed a lot about the history of the house. "No," I said. "I've had enough." As I passed through the living room once more, I said goodbye to a husband, a wife, and 2 children, who were all sitting calmly on the couch in front of the television set. I stared at them for a moment and wondered how they could sit there so calmly after everything they had reportedly witnessed. How could they sit there amid all of this pain? And then a wave of understanding passed through my body. I understood why that house and many others like it were haunted. The feelings of sadness, grief, and guilt I had felt in the bathroom had been thick and suffocating. I wondered what might have happened to the woman who'd once had those feelings. Had she been murdered? If so, could she have found her way through the death realms and into the light? She'd been pondering what to do, to stay in the bathroom or go out, to save herself or her children. She'd been trapped in a decision-making process permeated with indescribable psychic pain. What if she'd been killed in the middle of such a process? Could some part of her be trying to sort through her Could some part of her still be trying to sort through her feelings and emotions? Might she have become a ghost through her failure to accept what had happened? And what of the men who had been locked in violent battle? Did they know they were dead? Could they accept that? I sensed that these spirits needed time, and most of all quiet, to process the events that had occurred just prior to their deaths. To travel through the death realms, one must freely let go of one's ego and sense of self and open up to a greater reality. I stared at the family parked in front of the blaring television set. I sensed that the spirits there were aggravated by their presence. The ghosts needed quiet to let go of earthly existence. The family's activities were a constant reminder of the lifetimes they could no longer live. The ghosts were angry. Their only alternative was to use fear tactics to chase the family out of the house forever. Maybe then, someday, the ghosts could process what they had gone through and be released from it. And then, maybe someday, they could find their way to the light and go on. I have no proof that what I have described above is an accurate assessment of the situation in that house or any other. It does, however, agree with some of the theories put forward by people who have speculated about the causes of ghostly phenomena in the past. Historical research has frequently linked violent or sudden deaths with sites where ghostly phenomena has been reported. Some researchers have suggested that ghosts may feel as though they have unfinished business to attend to, and may thus stay in the material world long after their physical body has died. Psychic investigators of modern ghostly phenomenon often attempt to communicate with ghosts to let them know they have passed on and encourage them to leave the earthly plane. Offering help to such spirits clearly benefits residents of both the human and spirit realms. Many modern explorers of otherworldly travel intentionally render assistance to spirits in need. Travelers utilizing the Monroe Institute's out-of-body travel techniques, to be discussed shortly, and students of shamanic journeying, footnote 3, attempt to assist the spirits of individuals who have recently passed on in becoming acclimated to the spirit realm, working much in the same way native shamans have for thousands of years. So footnote 3 says, see Dream Gates, an explorer's guide to the worlds of soul, imagination, and life beyond death, by Robert Moss, New York, Three Rivers Press, 1998, for information on techniques used and efforts made to assist departed spirits through journeying. It's difficult to know for certain how much we might be able to help non-physical beings trapped in negativity, and we should, of course, approach any such interaction with great caution. Yet in situations where ghostly activities appear to be affecting living people negatively, it would probably pay to at least consider rendering our help. And then again, I have the video called Free Ghosts that you might be interested in after you finish listening to this chapter, because it can help you if you would like to help ghosts. In the final chapters of this book, we'll look at modern experiments with human spirit contact. Some of these experiments have led to beneficial developments in agriculture and health, paving the way for a new era of interdimensional harmony and cooperation. All right, so that's it for chapter 16. Thanks for listening. And the next chapter I'll read will be chapter 17, and that's called Working with the Spirits of Nature. All right, please give this a thumbs up if you liked it, and have a wonderful day. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.